Hey, welcome back. I've got a video here about the difference between Annerledes and Forskjellig, okay? Both of these words mean different, and they actually mean all these different forms of the word different. But in this video, I'm not going to cover all of these variations, okay? What I want to do, my goal here, is to explain how these two words are used differently. All right, there's a little bit of a rule to it, so let's just jump right into this. Annerledes compares the difference of a subject with something else. Okay, so if you have the subject of a sentence here is dogs, okay, and Hunner are Annerledes and Katter, okay, that is how you would use Annerledes, right? And it's conforming to this rule here where the dog is the subject and cats are something else, right? So that's pretty straight up and straightforward. Let's get rid of that. Now Forskjellig compares the difference between two parts or more of the same subject. So let's reword the sentence here. Hunner or katter are forskjellige, right? Dogs and cats are different. And so what I try to do is show you that dogs and cats are the subject here. And in Norwegian, the subject can be pretty long. It could be dogs and cats and bats, and it could be pretty long, and then all of a sudden here's the verb. The verb it seems like it's pretty far back in the sentence. This is a vertellende, a helsetning, actually. It's a complete sentence, but it's basically this is the verb, and the sentence structure is right, but the pre-field here can be pretty long. And so dogs and cats are different. And Forskjellige, of course, is the flertal, right, version of Forskjellig. So you want to make sure, just keep an eye on that. So now you can see how Forskjellig works, right? It's a lot different there. So let's just do this again. Here's another sentence I wanted to show you with the dog and a cat. And this one, Forskjellig fra, okay, actually is the same thing as Annerledes and. So this is an exception. This adding the prepositions, especially the preposition fra, right, to Forskjellige. Now you can force the sentence to work with Forskjellig instead of using Annerledes. And I didn't show you this to confuse you. I showed it to you as an example of one thing that can happen, okay, where you can actually use Forskjellig instead of Annerledes. But for the most part, the words kind of conform to this rule. And but you want to be on the lookout for these prepositions, because they can change the ability. You're rephrasing the sentence three different ways, and you're really sort of saying the same thing. So you may be asking the question right now, what difference does it make? Well, it makes a big difference. Like if you're on the phone talking on a job interview, you want to be able to use the right word on the fly while you're making up a sentence, or when you're talking to somebody, or even listening to somebody, just to know that they're different and why they're different really makes a difference. Okay. All right, so I left this blank. See if you can pick out which word goes where. There's one of each. I'll give you a hint. And your time's up. Okay? If that's what you picked, you're correct. And here's why. Now, I'll just explain this. Okay? Every job, right, is something else. Right? Every job is different. So you would use Annerledes. And the next part of the sentence here, you work with different clients. The clients are a group. They're one subject, but they're different within that subject. So now maybe this will make it a little bit clearer, right? And I picked this sentence because it's not the clearest example, but it's a little bit subtle, actually. Every job is different. So what you want to do is notice how Annerledes is used, and notice how Forskjellig is used. And you'll see, if you keep this little rule in the back of your head, you'll see that, okay, yeah, it does conform to that. Okay, so here's another one. Okay, time's up. All right. The subject, I am different than you, something else. I and you is something else, and Annerledes is comparing, the difference. That's pretty straightforward. And you would not use Forskjellig there. It doesn't really go. I mean, you could and people would understand you, but this is the correct way to use it. Let's try another one. And time's up. Okay. Alla are Forskjellig. Everyone is the subject, and everyone, when you're using like this, is a group. Everyone in the group is different. Two or more parts of one subject are different. And so you can, and you may be wondering, where's the E on the end? Because isn't alla plural? Not here. You actually could if you wanted to, I believe, but this is correct as well. So there are exceptions to all rules. That's what I find out. And rather than go ahead and just not talk about them, I like to present them. If you wanted to use, here's where you would really want to put the E and make this a plural adjective. Vi är alla forskjelliga. It takes a little while to get used to it, but once you start to notice and you become aware of how the words are used, for example, if you're learning to read, next time you're reading and you see Annerledes or Forskjellig, then hopefully you'll have this rule in the back of your mind and it will click. And so that's how I like to do it. Remember that Annerledes can also be spelled Anderledes, and you don't really hear the D when people do that. This is one of those things. But Annerledes is, I believe, the more correct of the two. I have some live links in the description, and I have the Annerledes flashcard set done already, and I'm working on the Forskjellig flashcards, so you can practice if you want to. And I'm actually considering doing one with both Annerledes and Forskjellig mixed together. On top of that, because working on one subject is great, and you learn all these other words too, while you're concentrating on one thing. I really appreciate you watching this. Thanks a lot, and till next time, ha det bra.